over 60 and still being told to load up on eggs for protein. What if the real muscle builder isn't a chicken product at all, but a humble vegetable you've overlooked? When we hit 60, many of us resign ourselves to the idea that muscle loss is inevitable. Doctors tell us to lift, eat lean protein, take a multivitamin. Yet, year after year, strength fades, energy drops, posture stoops. We feel heavier, slower, more fragile. But what if much of that decline isn't due to age but misplaced assumptions? Here's what's really going on inside your body. As we age, our muscle tissue becomes metabolically resistant. The pathways that once honored protein and physical stress begin to mute. The signal build muscle becomes harder to deliver and easier to ignore. That's why many seniors, even those eating good protein, never recapture strength. The signal is weak, so no matter how many building blocks you provide, the muscle factory remains idle. I want to flip that script. In this video, I'm going to show you a surprising vegetable, yes, a plant-based source that actually delivers more usable protein per calorie in certain contexts than eggs. And not just in theory, we'll walk through how to use this vegetable in your morning routine under the right metabolic conditions to help reverse muscle loss after. You'll learn why the eat more eggs advice fails for many older adults, especially those with insulin resistance or anabolic resistance. How this vegetable outperforms eggs on key metrics: digestibility, leucine delivery, bioavailability, and metabolic burden. The timing and context that make it effective, what to add, when, and how to pair it so your body actually uses it for muscle. The metabolic supports you must align: insulin sensitivity, hormones, sleep, training to get full value. A practical 8-week protocol to test and track your results. No guesswork, just daily steps. Let me explain with a simple analogy. Think of muscle growth as a construction site. Eggs may deliver bricks, but your body's gate often remains closed. This vegetable not only delivers bricks, but also a key card that helps open the gate. If the metabolic environment is ready, that you can't rely on just one ingredient, the soil must be fertile, insulin optimized, the foreman must be alert, hormones balanced, and workers ready resistance training. That's how real lasting muscle comes back. If this sounds promising and you're tired of chasing muscle in vain, hit subscribe. I commit to breaking down the science into tools you can use right now. Let's begin. Let's start with a question I often ask my patients. How is it possible that someone eats plenty of protein, yet keeps losing muscle every year after? Here's what's really going on inside your body. After the age of 50, your muscle cells gradually become less sensitive to the signals that tell them to grow. This process is called anabolic resistance. Think of it like your muscles wearing noise-canceling headphones. They can't hear the signal from amino acids or exercise as clearly anymore. When you were 30, a small amount of protein could flip that growth switch in your muscles easily. But by 60 or 70, that same protein intake may not generate the same response. The muscle signal becomes weak. And if your diet is high in insulin spiking foods, red sugary coffee creamers, frequent snacking, that resistance only gets worse. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your muscles as a sponge. When you're young, that sponge absorbs protein efficiently. As you age, inflammation, hormonal shifts, and poor insulin control dry the sponge out. Now, even if you pour protein over it, the sponge barely absorbs anything. What the research shows is that older adults often need a stronger signal to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. That means higher leucine content, lower insulin levels, and better mitochondrial health. So if you simply add more protein without addressing insulin resistance or chronic inflammation, your body still can't use it effectively. One 2024 review published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia and Muscle showed that people over 60 who had insulin resistance experienced up to 30% less muscle protein synthesis after eating compared to those with normal insulin sensitivity. That's massive. So before we talk about what food to add, we have to fix the environment, the metabolic soil where your muscles grow. And here's the good news: your body can relearn how to build muscle. When you reduce fasting insulin, stabilize your morning blood sugar, and add the right nutrient triggers, your muscles regain that youthful responsiveness. We'll get to the specific food in a moment, but the key takeaway right now is this. You don't lose muscle just because you're aging. You lose it because your metabolism has forgotten how to listen. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you reverse age-related decline naturally. Now, in the next section, we'll look at why eggs, though packed with protein, may not be the most efficient choice for rebuilding muscle after 60 and what food science now shows to be more effective. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest myths in nutrition, that eggs are the perfect muscle food. Don't get me wrong, eggs are nutritious. They contain all 9 essential amino acids, good fats, and choline, which supports the liver and brain. But here's what most people don't realize. After 60, eggs alone may not give your muscles the signal they need to actually grow. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Egg protein has a moderate amount of leucine, the amino acid that acts like a trigger for muscle synthesis. Leucine tells your muscle cells, hey, it's time to grow. The problem? Older adults need nearly double the leucine signal that younger people do to activate that same pathway called mTOR, which is your body's internal muscle building switch. So if a younger person can activate mTOR with around 1.5 grams of leucine, an older adult might need 3 grams or more in a single meal. In an average egg, it only gives you that means you'd need to eat half a dozen eggs just to hit that threshold. And even then, the insulin and fat content can blunt the effect. Let me explain with a simple analogy. Imagine mTOR as a light switch that controls muscle growth. When you're young, the switch is sensitive. Even a small tap turns it on. But as you age, that switch becomes stiff. You can tap it all day, but it barely moves. You need a stronger force, a sharper nutrient signal to flip it. And eggs just don't push hard enough on that switch anymore. What the research shows is that plant-based proteins, high in specific amino acids, particularly legumes like lentils, edamame, and green peas, can provide a more consistent anabolic response in older adults when paired with insulin sensitivity and fiber. In 2024, a clinical trial published in Nutrients found that older adults consuming a daily serving of green pea protein saw a 24% greater improvement in lean muscle mass compared to those eating the same amount of protein from eggs, especially when combined with light resistance exercise. The reason pea protein doesn't just provide amino acids, it's also rich in arginine and glutamine, which improve blood flow and nutrient delivery to muscle cells. Plus, it has fiber that stabilizes post-meal blood sugar and insulin levels, the very foundation of better muscle utilization. So here's the takeaway. Eggs are fine, but they're not enough by themselves. Your body needs protein with intelligence, amino acids that come with metabolic support. And that's exactly why this vegetable, which we'll reveal next, is outperforming eggs in muscle building studies for older adults. In the next section, we'll uncover that specific vegetable, how it boosts muscle protein synthesis, and how you can easily add it to your morning coffee or smoothie routine to reverse muscle loss naturally. Now we've talked about why most people over 60 lose muscle despite eating protein. We've also seen why eggs, although nutritious, can't fully activate the muscle building switch after a certain age. So here's the real question. What vegetable actually beats eggs for muscle growth and anti-sarcopenia benefits? The answer might surprise you. Green peas. Yes, this humble, simple vegetable contains a form of protein that's not only bioavailable, but also metabolically intelligent. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you eat it. Pea protein is rich in branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, especially leucine, isoleucine, and valine, the trio responsible for stimulating muscle protein synthesis. In fact, per calorie, peas deliver a higher leucine density than eggs, without the insulin spike or saturated fat that can blunt the anabolic response. Let me explain this with a whiteboard-style analogy. Imagine your muscles as a construction site. To build new muscle fibers, you need 3 things. The raw materials, amino acids. So, the energy, glucose, and ATP. 3, the signal. Leucine to activate mTOR. Eggs give you good materials, but not enough signal. Pea protein gives you both the materials and the signal, and because it stabilizes insulin, your cells actually absorb and use those amino acids efficiently. A 2024 randomized study from the Journal of Nutrition and Healthy Aging found that adults over 60 who consumed 30 grams of pea protein daily showed the same increase in muscle thickness as those taking whey protein, but with better improvements in blood sugar control and digestion. Another paper published in Frontiers in Aging revealed that pea protein's arginine content increases nitric oxide, improving blood flow to muscle tissue, helping nutrients actually get delivered to where they're needed most. Here's what I recommend practically. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of organic pea protein to your morning coffee or smoothie. Combine it with MCT oil or a touch of collagen to stabilize energy and support connective tissue. Drink it within 30 minutes of resistance exercise or a brisk morning walk to maximize muscle synthesis. This combination keeps insulin low, muscles activated, and an mTOR pathway optimized without overloading calories. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you take control of your metabolism and aging naturally. And don't underestimate the power of consistency. Small daily inputs, even 1 scoop of the right protein at the right time, can reshape your physiology over weeks. In the next section, we'll talk about how to use timing, fasting, and key nutrients to multiply the muscle-preserving effects of this simple addition, even if you're not working out intensely. Most people think what you eat is all that matters. But when it comes to reversing muscle loss after 60, timing is just as important as the food itself. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your muscles have windows of opportunity, short time frames when they're more sensitive to amino acids and insulin. These windows are called anabolic windows, and they open widest right after fasting or light activity, such as a morning walk or resistance training. When you eat protein in those windows, your body diverts those amino acids directly toward muscle repair and synthesis rather than burning them for energy. But if you eat protein constantly throughout the day, especially between sugary snacks or high-carb meals, insulin stays elevated and your muscles lose sensitivity to that anabolic signal. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your muscles like a dry sponge again. When you fast or move your body, the sponge dries slightly. It's ready to absorb nutrients. Now, when you feed it clean protein and healthy fats, it soaks it up efficiently. But if you're constantly pouring food over it, especially carbs and snacks, the sponge stays soggy. It can't absorb anything new. What the research shows is that older adults who time their protein intake post-activity or post-fasting have up to 60% better muscle protein synthesis than those who eat protein randomly throughout the day. One 2024 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that individuals over 65 who consumed 30 grams of plant protein within 30 minutes of light resistance exercise increased muscle thickness and mitochondrial activity faster than those consuming the same amount later in the day. So here's a simple evidence-based protocol you can start using. Pausing, morning fasted state. After waking, hydrate with water and electrolytes. Do 10-15 minutes of light resistance work, bodyweight squats, wall push-ups, or light weights. Then within 30 minutes, consume your pea protein coffee or smoothie, ideally paired with a little MCT oil or collagen. That's an evening option. If you train later, finish your workout, walk or gardening session. Then enjoy your protein shake immediately after, followed by your evening meal about 30-60 minutes later. These windows teach your muscles to listen again. They restore the communication between your amino acids, insulin, and growth signals. Over time, this simple shift rewires your metabolism from storage mode to repair mode. Remember, it's not about eating more, it's about eating smart. You're syncing your meals with your biology. And if this resonates with you, make sure to subscribe. I share new metabolic strategies every week to help you rebuild strength, energy, and vitality naturally. In the next section, we'll dive into how fasting, sleep, and specific micronutrients can supercharge muscle repair even while you rest. Now, this may surprise you. You can actually rebuild muscle even while you rest. Not because sleep or fasting magically build muscle, but because they optimize the environment that allows your body to do it efficiently. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you fast, your insulin levels drop and growth hormone rises. Growth hormone is your body's recovery signal. It helps repair muscle tissue, mobilize fat for fuel, and preserve lean mass. That's why short periods of fasting combined with targeted nutrition can actually protect your muscles instead of breaking them down. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body as a construction site again. When insulin is high all the time, construction workers, your cells are too busy dealing with constant deliveries of sugar and fat to focus on repair. But when insulin drops, like during fasting, the workers finally have space to rebuild the structure properly. What the research shows is that intermittent fasting, even as simple as a 14-10 or 16-8 pattern, can significantly improve muscle quality and reduce inflammation markers that block muscle synthesis. A 2024 study published in Cell Metabolism found that older adults who practiced early time-restricted eating, finishing dinner before 6 p.m., had greater muscle insulin sensitivity and improved growth hormone pulses compared to those who ate late at night. Now let's connect this to sleep because this is where the real recovery happens. During deep sleep, your brain triggers the largest release of growth hormone in a 24-hour cycle. But here's the catch. If you eat too close to bedtime, especially a meal high in carbs, your insulin stays elevated and that hormone release gets blunted. In other words, late night snacking literally shuts off your muscle's overnight repair process. So here's what I recommend. Stop eating 3 hours before bed. This allows insulin to fall and growth hormone to rise naturally. As in, prioritize magnesium and zinc in your evening routine. These minerals not only calm your nervous system, but also support testosterone and IGF-1, both crucial for maintaining lean mass after 60. Sleep in a dark, cool room to boost melatonin, which indirectly enhances muscle recovery through mitochondrial repair. Combine that with your morning protein timing strategy, and you've just aligned two of the most powerful anabolic rhythms in your biology. You have daytime feeding for muscle building, with a nighttime fasting for regeneration. If this is making sense so far, and you're enjoying this deep dive into how your body really works, hit subscribe. I share simple, evidence-based strategies every day to help you stay strong, lean, and energized for life. In the next section, we'll uncover the micronutrients and lifestyle habits that amplify all of this, helping your muscle cells regain their youthful responsiveness naturally. Now that you understand how timing, fasting, and metabolic rhythm rebuild muscle, let's talk about the micronutrients, the spark plugs that make the entire system work. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your muscles don't just need protein, they need cofactors, vitamins and minerals that allow amino acids to actually form new tissue. Without them, you can eat all the protein you want, but your body can't convert it into muscle efficiently. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine you're trying to build a house. Protein is the bricks, but without electricity and tools, nothing gets assembled. Those tools are your micronutrients, especially magnesium, vitamin D, zinc, and creatine. Let's break them down. As magnesium, it's essential for over 300 enzymatic reactions, including energy production in the muscle cell. Low magnesium makes muscles weak, tired, and more prone to cramps. Magnesium also improves insulin sensitivity, meaning you get more from every gram of protein you eat. Vitamin D3, K2, vitamin D acts like a hormone that tells your muscles when to grow and your bones when to strengthen. In 2024, a meta-analysis in Frontiers in Nutrition confirmed that maintaining vitamin D blood levels above 40 ng/ml improved muscle strength and reduced sarcopenia risk by 37% in adults. And zinc. This mineral supports testosterone, IGF-1, and cellular repair. It also helps regulate mTOR, that muscle building switch we talked about earlier. Foods rich in zinc include pumpkin seeds, lentils, and chickpeas, all plant-based and metabolism friendly. Also creatine, many think of it as a bodybuilder supplement. But research now shows that 2 to 3 grams of creatine daily enhances muscle volume, cognition, and even bone density in adults over 60, even without intense exercise. Avocados and omega-3 fats, EPA and DHA. These reduce inflammation and improve muscle cell signaling, helping your body stay anabolic rather than catabolic. You can get them from wild salmon, sardines, or high-quality algae oil. But micronutrients are only half the equation. The other half is lifestyle rhythm, what you do every single day that either supports or sabotages muscle recovery. Here's what the research consistently shows. Sunlight exposure in the morning, 10-15 minutes, synchronizes your circadian rhythm, improving growth hormone and testosterone later in the day. Resistance training just 3 times a week, even light weights or resistance bands, can completely reverse sarcopenia when paired with proper nutrition. Stress reduction through breathing or meditation lowers cortisol, the hormone that breaks down muscle. High cortisol literally steals amino acids from your muscle to make glucose. Managing it is non-negotiable. So the formula is simple. Protein provides the materials, micronutrients provide the tools, and lifestyle provides the environment. When those three align, your muscle cells regain their youthful responsiveness, and you start to notice more energy, tighter skin, and a stronger posture. And if this message resonates with you, consider subscribing. I share new content every day to help you take control of your metabolism and aging naturally. Let's bring everything together. We started with a simple truth. Muscle loss after 60 isn't inevitable. It's not just part of aging, it's a metabolic adaptation, and one you can reverse with the right inputs. Here's what's really going on inside your body. As you age, anabolic resistance makes your muscles less responsive to protein. But when you address the root causes, insulin resistance, inflammation, and nutrient timing, your muscle cells wake back up. They begin to listen again. We discovered that eggs, while nutritious, often fall short for older adults because they don't deliver enough leucine to activate the mTOR switch that triggers muscle growth. Instead, we explored the surprising power of green peas and pea protein, rich in leucine, arginine, and fiber, the perfect trio for muscle recovery, metabolic balance, and digestion. We also covered the science of timing, using your body's natural anabolic windows, especially after fasting or light activity, to direct protein into muscle instead of fat. We talked about how fasting lowers insulin, sleep triggers growth hormone, and micronutrients like magnesium, vitamin D, zinc, and creatine act as the spark plugs of muscle regeneration. And perhaps most importantly, we reframed aging itself. You don't lose muscle because of time. You lose it because of metabolic confusion. Fix that, and your body can rebuild at any age. Here's your simple daily roadmap to start today. In morning, begin your day fasted, then do 10 minutes of light resistance work. Follow it with a coffee or smoothie containing pea protein, a spoon of MCT oil, and a little collagen. In midday, eat a nutrient-dense, high-protein meal with vegetables, olive oil, and clean fats. Avoid grazing or sugary snacks that raise insulin. Finish your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. Add magnesium and zinc before sleep. Allow your body to enter a true repair state overnight. Often weekly, include 2 to 3 resistance sessions, bands, body weight, or light weights. The goal isn't to work harder, it's to signal your body consistently. If you follow this simple rhythm, you'll notice something incredible within weeks. More energy in the morning, less joint pain, tighter skin, and the quiet confidence that comes from strength. Because strong muscles don't just help you move, they protect your metabolism, your brain, and your independence. They are the currency of healthy aging. So here's my challenge to you. So starting tomorrow, add just 1 scoop of pea protein to your morning coffee. Keep your fast clean, move your body, and give it a week. Track how you feel, your energy, your appetite, your focus. You'll be amazed how quickly your body remembers what it was designed to do, rebuild. If this video added value, like it and share it with someone who needs this message. And don't forget to subscribe. I post science-backed videos every day to help you take control of your metabolism, energy, and longevity naturally. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live.